Welcome back to the R-Rated Podcast. The R-Rated Podcast. This week's guest is...
Welcome back to the R-Rated Podcast. Today's guest is Kimberly Singh, and we're going to talk about how to get an agent. So before we start, where are you from, and how did you get here to LA?
Yeah, I'm from Queens, New York.
Ooh,
I have actually always wanted to live in Los Angeles because
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I've loved the film TV industry since I was in high school.
Yeah.
But I was always so scared. I was actually in high school, instead of being in the theater and in the plays.
Yeah.
I was the one with the video camera in the back of the stage,
working
with the production.
Damn, okay, so you already knew in high school.
Yeah.
Because I feel like in high school, everyone does drama, and you're like, I think this... Well, that's what I did, so I didn't really have the experience of doing the whole camera stuff in high school. It was more drama and plays, and I'm always jealous when I hear other high schools had it. I'm like, damn it!
Well, to be honest, my family was so conservative. So we're my family's from the West Indies.
Okay.
And a lot of people only think of conservative people as middle America white. But if you are from some sort of culture outside of, there's strict conservative things, people, whether you're from the Middle East or from Mediterranean or people are conservative. And so my family, they were just did not believe I could do acting. They thought it was so silly. And in some point in my head, I was yeah, it is silly. It is silly. And I'm so that sort of, that kind of, I took that and I internalized it.
Well, of course. Yeah.
Right.
How would you not? You're going to take what your parents or your family or siblings say is personal. You don't want to, but obviously you want them to support you and be you can do it. Because if they're it's my parents were you can do it, but it's really hard. It's not going to be an easy journey. And I was okay.
Yeah, instead of motivating you, they're just shooting you down right away.
Yeah.
And it's not that they were doing it maliciously.
Yeah.
Because they came up hard in a hard life themselves.
Yeah,
in a hard time.
exactly.
So anyway, I did that, and I did a little bit of journalism. I was always on camera, delivering the high school morning news.
Love it.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then in college, I was okay, I really still want to be in the industry, but I can never make money being an actor, so I'm going to do writing.
Yeah.
So I got my bachelor's in TV writing and producing.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, and so that's what I graduated with. I ended up working for ABC News.
Wait,
right out of college.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I always thought about doing journalism, but honestly, my writing's not that, my spelling's not that great, because, I was born in Austria, so English is not my first language, so I always kind of struggled with, writing. And so, in high school, I kind of realized, nah, I don't think journalism is my thing, but I think it's super cool that you're able to do that, because, I feel in another life, maybe I would have done that, too.
It's never too late to, well, the thing is that, with journalism...
After a few writing classes.
I know, right? Well, with journalism, it's actually different than, writing a story book. There's so many mediums that are so different, right? With journalism, it's sort of just... It's like a pyramid, right? You start out with what's happening, and then you go down to little things, and then it's an upside down pyramid. You get to the point,
right?
And then with copywriting and things like that, it's kind of marketing and ghostwriting, and there's so many different things. So yeah, it was I was oh, these are all the things I can do. Yeah. But then I lost my job at ABC. Yeah,
really?
It was really hard because
how did what happened?
I loved working for the company because you get to see and do different things. The morning show, I work for Good Morning America.
It's never repetitive. I feel there's always something happening that you're oh shit, okay.
But there are parts of it that were disheartening. When I look at the morning show on Apple TV, it's so similar to what I experienced. It's really not that far-fetched. There is obviously drama.
Yeah, but
and it is based on Matt Lauer. But the nitty-gritty parts to it, it's very similar to the way people talk to each other. And I was one of the only people.
It's no respect, and I feel that's such a big thing. Why can't you just respect each other? I feel the respect has to be there from both people. It doesn't really matter how high you are, what your position is, how long you've worked there. I just feel respect is a common thing that should just be regular. It shouldn't be you have to work your way up for years and years to get this respect. It's no, just be a good person.
Right. You don't need to
just be a decent
be
human.
mean to people just to prove your power.
It doesn't prove anything, honestly. If anything, it just kind of pisses me off and doesn't like make me want to like do the work. It just
Yeah.
it's like, why would you talk to me like that?
Right. Yeah.
It's happened to me too, where I'm just like dealing with people and I'm like,
You can't.
why did you talk to me like that?
Right, you can't beat people down and
Yeah.
expect them to succeed in life.
Exactly.
And so I, even though I left, well, I ended up like with their like post-production area, which is not anything I love, because it's basically dealing with like film and tapes and then like editing just a little bit so that you can resell them to like the Oxygen Network or like WeTV.
Okay.
Like, you know, like you look at WeTV with 2020 on ID kind of like Discovery. Right. They sell their crime shows to these networks.
Right.
So I was like, oh, this is not what I want to do.
Right.
I ended up like quitting.
Was it paying decent or
it was paying okay.
Okay.
I was a PA. I was freelance because they refused to like put me on their contract.
It seems like it's harder to get like paid regular, like what you deserve, honestly.
Yeah,
like,
I had
bigger
no health
networks.
insurance. I had bronchitis for so long while I was working.
Oh
Nobody cared. Nobody was going to pay me.
Wow.
Producers kept yelling at me because they were like, go stay home. And I was like, I'm a PA. I have no money. I cannot stay home.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And it was miserable.
Yeah.
So I ended up like leaving, like the show kind of ended. I was... And I couldn't find a job again in news because it's like a lot of nepism within these networks. Within the film industry, it's nepotism,
I know.
period.
Yeah, that's true.
And I've learned that here in Hollywood. I'm like stunned.
I'm stunned.
I am stunned.
Yeah,
like,
right?
You would talk about it, but then when you see it happen,
but it's like happening still, right? Like like they're slowly starting to talk about it and like trying to make a difference, to make a change. But it's like you still see it everywhere.
Oh
and I'm
my
just like,
gosh.
oh my God, like it's still like so in your face. This is crazy.
And like things like, for example, like you and I met working on set,
yeah,
right?
Yes,
we were working in the COVID department.
I know. Are we like able to talk about it a little bit?
I think we can.
Because it's like done shooting, or what do you think?
I think
you probably have more knowledge on that. I was just doing the COVID test.
Listen, I'm just gonna say we work for a show for Paramount.
Yes. Okay, that's how we
show.
met. A Paramount show. It was connection at first sight.
Right. I was like, she has such pretty eyes underneath that mask.
And I saw her eyebrows, and I was like, wow. I was like, they're so nice. Where do you go?
Right.
You yourself? Like, what? And anyway, so we started talking right away, and I was just really curious and interested because she has an agent. Plus, she does acting and so much more. But first of all, how did you transition into acting? Because right now, you know, you're doing writing and you're PAing. So what moment did you realize, like, okay, I want to do acting?
So there's like a point in everyone's life where they just cannot take shit anymore, right?
Yep.
There's true. Like, you are so done with your own bull.
Yeah.
You are so done with other people's bull. And you can either go the positive route where you like work hard for yourself, or you can go down like a rabbit hole where you just like hate everyone around you, continue to live like this negative life.
You're just grumpy all the time.
So I was working so after ABC, I ended up working in marketing for a entertainment cruise company. Basically like those dinners you dance and party around like the harbor of the city.
I don't know why I imagined a Disney like cruise that goes to like
similar.
I don't know,
similar.
Like,
basically you go on a cruise on a harbor, you eat a buffet, and you just dance on the water for like 3 hours.
I'm kind of scared of cruises. Like, I don't know why, like small confined area, like on a big body of water with people I don't know. I'm like
getting drunk on a deck.
Yeah, it's just kind of like
I don't know.
Scary. I don't know if it's my thing. Maybe I could be wrong. I've never done it, but like something about it, I'm like, I can hold off a little bit.
It's magical in New York. In New York, you're just like, it's the city is energetic.
Right, looking at the city. Yeah, that would be actually really beautiful. I don't know if I'd want to stay for like overnight for like a lot of nights on a cruise.
Yeah,
like,
no, that's
I'm
not...
like, I've seen Titanic. I know what happens. Just kidding.
Yeah, no. Right when COVID happened, like it was like an outbreak. No one could leave the cruise ship.
Yeah, it's like you're like videos on YouTube. They're like, I'm stuck with my family. Like that was like kind of a horror movie. I'm like, I do not want to.
And then everyone starts dying off. They're like, it's the virus. And
honestly, I'm surprised they haven't made a scary movie based off that yet. Like, obviously, they're not going to call it like COVID, like cruise, or oh my god, COVID.
COVID.
Wait, oh my god, did I just come up with a movie idea?
We're gonna start the writer's room.
Okay, after this episode. Okay, wait, go back to your story. Sorry.
And so I got to the point where I was just so sick because I worked at Chelsea Piers, which also happens to be where Law and Order SVU shoots. So we shot on the same floor. And I remember walking past every day and seeing how they how the set deck and construction would transform this huge thing from like a hospital to like a courtroom to like a house. And I was like, I would go in the bathroom 20 times a day and cry because I was like, this I was like, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing with my life? Like, this is, I'm 25 years old. It was like
a breakthrough.
Yeah, I was like, I'm 25.
Oh my God, that's what I'm going through right now. I feel like
I
literally go through that like once a week. I'm like, I'm 25 years old.
Right.
Quarter of a century. What the fuck am I doing with my life? Like, literally, oh my God.
Okay. Like, why are we not living?
Okay, so I'm not the only one.
Right. We're like living in probably the best time to be a human in terms of like freedoms and the things that we can fight for. We have so much more to fight for, but we're able to fight for it. And as we talk about Black History Month, I know, right? This is an evergreen podcast. Sorry. So I was like so sick of it. So I was like, you know what? I called up a vocal coach because I thought maybe I wanted to be a singer. I'd always loved singing.
Oh, okay.
But like,
oh my God, this is so exciting.
So scared.
Like, there's so much that you do. This is
so
cool.
I mean, I'm not the greatest singer. I started with classes, but so I called this.
Well, you got to start somewhere,
right? I called this top coach up. And she was just like, "Listen, honey, I work with people with vocal damage, and I can't really help you, but I am so touched by your story because I was just like." Right, I wrote this huge email to her. I was just like desperate to get to just find help.
It's like showing dedication. Like, this is what you want. I'm gonna like, do what I need to get there. You know what I mean? Like, people like that. Like, I kind of started doing that too. Like, writing emails and just really like explain like why I want to pursue this, why I want, and why I'm the
people
person
are willing
to
help you.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, like, let's give it a chance.
Yeah, like,
you'd be surprised how many people actually
absolutely like
bite onto
8 out of 10 people will want to help you. You know, there's always those few people that are just so angry and miserable, but but you can't think about them. So I decided I quit my job. I went to a 2-year acting conservatory. And I was at the point where actually my first year they have the option of kicking you out if you don't like do the things you're supposed to be doing.
Oh, wow.
And so my teacher walked up to me and she's like, Kim, I really don't think you're going to be returning for a second year. And I was like, oh my God, I want this so bad. And I was holding back, you know, emotions, vulnerability, all the things you're supposed to do in acting school. And I was like, okay, well, is my fear greater than the actual thing I want? And I was like, no, it's not. So I was like, I know I've been through shit in life. And I was like, I can do this and I want it. So I just turned my stuff around and I committed. Like, that was the key term for the last like 4 years of my life was like commitment. If you can live by anything for like a year.
That's amazing.
And so then from there, I learned about manifesting. I had never known.
I love manifesting.
I know. I love it
totally know. It's a thing. It's real.
I tell people about it and they're like, well, you have to work for it too. And I'm like, yeah, that's literally what manifesting is. Like,
oh my God, yes.
People think it's just a bunch of woo-woo witchcraft.
No, you're not just like, this is gonna happen. You sit there, it's gonna happen. Like, obviously, it kind of like you're saying it out loud. You're gonna make it happen. Like, it's a reminder. Like, okay, this is what I want. I'm gonna work for it. And usually you do it, and it happens.
Yep. So after school ended and my life changed from like all the curriculum, I said to myself, you know, a casting director, the former like head of casting for HBO gave us like a business class. And she was like, write down your goals for the next 6 months, the next year, and the next 5 years. And
I feel like that's great. Writing out your goals, seeing it like in front of you. Like that's how you make it happen. Because honestly, when it's like just back there, it's just going to float in there and then going to go to the back of your brain. You're just not going to think about it. Then like there's other things that you're thinking about. Other people, you're like meeting people, you're just like going through everyday life, and it's like you're not thinking about the fucking goals anymore. So exactly, like, you see it every day. You come home from those things that you do, and you're like,
right,
oh yeah, right.
There's something about writing it down,
totally.
And but she was like a little cynical, you know. She was like, don't write that you're going to make $20,000 in a year from acting. You're just coming out of acting school. And I was like,
you're like, okay, called out.
Challenge. I was like, challenge accepted.
Right.
And I wrote down, I'm going to make $20,000 in acting money this year.
Ooh,
and
then
okay. 6 months after acting school, I signed myself up to Casting Networks, which is a website for mostly commercial breakdowns.
Okay, so it's stuff. Like kind of like Backstage, but just for commercials. Or?
Kind of. It's a little more legitimate. Also, like casting directors actually use Casting Networks.
Okay, yeah. Backstage is more like
it's for students and like independent films.
That's what I would think.
Casting directors rarely ever go to Backstage. Yeah. But it's really informational. It's a good resource for actors. Yeah. I used it all the time.
I mean, that's what they suggest in film school. They're like, oh yeah, Backstage, which makes sense.
And you can get some really good, MFA college stuff out of it. Yeah. But yeah, Casting Network. So I signed up for that website and I went in for a casting call for Summer's Eve, which is like a vaginal hygiene product.
How did it go?
And I was so nervous going in because they were like, okay, required, wardrobe is like bathing suit, a 2-piece.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I've had years of psoriasis, so I had scars all over my torso, all over my leg.
Yeah. And how's it now? Like, do you
it's so much better now. Yeah, I've come a long way, and we'll talk about that. But I was like, so I decided to wear a sexy one piece. Okay. I wore a sexy Baywatch.
I love a good one piece.
Yes, a red Baywatch one piece with like high waist and like shorts. Yeah. And I was like, I'm still cute. Yeah. So I went in and they were like, deliver the lines. So
deliver the lines.
Everybody that went in.
So thoughtful and hurtful.
Right.
You're like, okay.
Everybody was like a model. They were all like 6 foot tall, fit models, like with abs and like muscle. The women and the men. And
was there a description, or was it just like come in a swimsuit? Like
come in a swimsuit. Yeah.
So okay, cool. It wasn't like you have to be like this tall or like this.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes on breakdowns they're like fit, athletic, whatever. But I think for the purpose of Summer's Eve, they wanted sort of
someone
healthy women,
that everyone can connect to too. You're not going to connect to like some 6'5" model, like that's like
women that show that they have some form of self-care, health-care, whatever. Right. And so I went in and I was just like so nervous, and I was like, I'm gonna just do this from my heart. This is my first audition, and
I love it. No, you had the confidence. Right. It's amazing.
And I booked it, and it was well over $20,000 from that one commercial.
Yes. Oh my god. Wow. So like, how long into writing it out did you complete that goal?
6 months.
Wow.
Yeah. 6 months.
Hey, 20,000 in 6 months. That's pretty.
Yeah, and it wasn't like I put it out there and I kept submitting myself. I kept taking commercial classes.
Yeah, you just kept putting yourself out there.
Right. And I was like,
even if you were gonna get rejected, one was gonna stick. You just have to stay consistent.
Yes,
and that's what I've been learning too. Is like staying consistent is kind of key. It's like if one doesn't if one video or one episode doesn't do well, doesn't mean that it's over. Which I've been starting to learn as well, because I would take it like kind of personal. I'm like, oh my god, like, why is this episode doing so much better than this episode? Like, was I not, like, am I not talking about interesting things anymore? Like, whatever, like, it is. Like, you get in your head a little bit. But I feel like as long as you, like, stay consistent, you show, like, I'm passionate, I know what I'm talking about, like, I know what I'm doing. Like, people, like, realize,
Yeah, it sees it, and it shows in your work.
Yeah.
You can't get better unless the only way to success is failure, from what I see.
You have to see it all. Yeah.
Right. And a good thing that I've learned from listening to people, to mentors, people that I see as thought leaders, take your failure and your success as data, and not like emotional. As an actor, I definitely
don't take it to heart, like too personal.
Yeah, I definitely feel I've had so many close things that could have given me my big break.
Yeah,
and and like recently, I did an audition with my boyfriend. They pinned us
together.
Both. Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then they dropped me. Hired another Indian chick that looks just like me to walk in with him.
No.
I was like, and this was like a week ago. I was like, no, she has that. I don't have dark skin, long hair, like black hair. Yeah, literally.
Oh my god,
literally another.
And that's a risk that you take when you audition with your boyfriend too. And it's like you're acting, so you want to like keep it professional, but like deep down you're like, what the fuck? Like literally, like they typecasted you basically.
So what I took from that, and what I take from most failures that I've had is like just see it as data.
Yeah.
And keep it in your back pocket. Don't
take it like personal.
Yeah,
I don't think it was.
It's the compounding effect.
Yeah.
It's a really great book I've been reading called The Slight Edge.
Ooh.
And it's all about the compounding effect.
Okay.
If you just keep doing the thing, if you just keep at it, don't put on like your what do you call it? The vision, like when you're whatever. You're straightforward.
Yeah. Keep your focus.
Block your eyes.
Tunnel vision.
Don't take other people's success. Like be happy for them. Don't compare yourself.
Don't be salty. Right. Don't be jealous, because jealousy is a really bad
You all have something different to offer. We all have something different to offer. The Indian chick they chose to walk in with my boyfriend. She had something different to offer.
I'm really curious what it was though.
We'll see. It's a Walmart commercial. We're gonna see
it.
They're all partying on a rooftop. So whatever. But data that I took from that, I was like, you know what? I was still non-union at the time.
You think that's what it was?
Could have. Here in LA, I've noticed.
Tell them. Okay, so what's the difference between being in union and non-union?
So when you're in SAG, you get a lot more union benefits, such as like higher pay, better working conditions.
Yeah.
That are specific by the union. You get
nice.
Right. You get like discounted cool workshops.
Cool.
and like a bunch of like a slew of others. I just joined yesterday, so I'm still like reading the fine print. But
I love it. 24 hours in.
But like SAG,
that's amazing.
So
congratulations.
Thank you. If you do a SAG commercial, you'll get $33,000 or more.
Wow.
If they,
wow.
And if
so
you do
it's like a big step up.
Huge step, because then if you do a non-union national, which I've been doing, it's like $3,000. $2,000 and then nothing more.
It's that much.
Yeah.
Wow. It's that much.
Sometimes
higher.
It's in perpetuity, which means in perpetuity is when you, when it's there forever. And let's say I did a Spectrum in perpetuity commercial or like whatever. I'll never be able to do like an Optimum or like a Time. Spectrum is Time Warner or like another cable. Another cable competitor. So you're basically getting paid.
Okay.
It's
like you're loyal to like whatever commercial branding you do.
Yeah. You're getting shortened.
But the pay is like, it's so there. It's like what you want, right? So it's like, okay, I'll make that commitment for you if you make that commitment for me, like pay-wise. So how did you get an agent? Because, so tell me, like now you're acting, you did the commercial. Where are you at after this? Are you starting to do more commercials? Are you starting to do more like short films? Like what do you want to do in acting exactly?
So I'll say I have two different agents. I have a commercial agent and I have a theatrical agent.
Okay.
Very cool. And it's, from what I've heard, it's good to be it's good to have two different.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you want your agent in one agency to focus on one thing kind of thing. And sometimes there are certain agencies that are much better at commercial work, even though they have a theatrical department.
Got it. Okay.
So I have a commercial agent, which I got. I was non-union, and I used Casting Network.
I love it.
And I booked like.
I have to check them out. Like,
please do, because you're a model and you should.
I'm like, no, but I'll check it out. I'm very curious because I honestly only know like Backstage and what's the other one?
Actors Access.
Yeah, that one, and then there's one more.
Casting Frontier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but those I feel like those are kind of basic now. Like, I want to step it up.
Yeah. Well, Casting Hours is definitely worth it. So after like
Backstage LA, I just got an email from them. That's hilarious.
I ended up acquiring, like, doing a slew of commercials after that big one. And because after you do one, you have the confidence. You're like, I can do it.
Course, yeah.
So then I presented
you have to have that
myself.
Confidence in yourself. Like, if you don't believe and have that confidence in yourself, like no one else is.
Absolutely.
Like, if you're like doubting yourself and you're like, I don't know.
Confidence
if I can
everything.
It's everything. You have to like believe in yourself and someone else believe in you too. If
and
you
keep
don't,
working on it. If you don't have it, keep faking it. Fake
it till you make it. Fake it till you make it.
I had no confidence whatsoever at one point in my life. But so I presented like a reel. So you have a commercial reel. I presented it to a really big agency and they took me on. So I got with like this huge commercial agency. It was doing really well working with them. So I was like, okay, my next goal is to tackle theatrical work because that's where obviously acting is. Yeah. So I got my theatrical agent in New York, like by doing a showcase, which a lot of people do. It's kind of, people will say, I mean, people turn their noses to it because you have to pay for these showcases.
Oh,
okay. You have to pay to be seen.
Oh, okay.
And it sucks.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, it sucks as an actor that you have to like.
You have to pay.
Money. Yeah,
it's kind of like when you do film, like as a director, it's like you have to pay and invest in your own movies and yourself,
right? It's an investment
so that other people can see it and be like, oh, she knows what she's doing. Right. He knows what he's doing. Like, but it's like no one in the beginning wants to just give you like $10,000 to do something. Like $10,000 is hard to get. Like, I honestly don't even understand how people can get like $1 million. I'm like, how do you do it?
Right.
Like,
it's hard.
It's so hard.
And the only thing with showcases, the reason why it's so controversial, it's because a lot of actors that do these showcases, a lot of them are inexperienced, and you have to pay like sometimes between $200 and $800, $1,000 for these showcases.
Yeah,
and you're not ready as an actor, or like you're being put in front of a panel of 12 to 22 people that really matter for you in your career, and you're like your heart is set on this.
Yep.
And then you're getting nervous. Yep. And you're a little inexperienced maybe, and
well, you have to start somewhere. So you're
only doing a minute and a half of a scene. What can these people, high calorie people, take from
the pressure? Honestly, that's why I like couldn't do acting. I'm like, it's so like make it or break it moments. Like, I mean, it's not like that. The film industry is kind of just like that. Honestly, like it's like take the opportunity when you can, make those connections, make it or break it moments, like high like pressure moments, but like acting is on a whole nother level.
Yeah, I've done quite a few showcases, and I would say like in the beginning I did maybe like 6 showcases, didn't get one person, but then I realized just focus on the acting classes, really focus on getting better. You know, you're going to go through school. Some teachers will tell you like, you don't need anything after this. And that's just so silly. I finally got an agent. Let's talk about, I did have like an agent out in New York, but it was like, I still kind of work with her. She's a boutique agency. Okay. But I feel
how did you find her?
It was through a word of mouth. Okay. A friend was with her. I submitted, and she was just one of those agents that kind of take on any and everybody.
Okay. And do you have to pay, like, do you have to pay a certain amount, like, up front? Like, how does that work?
Okay. No, you should never pay your agent. You should only pay when you're booking.
Got it.
So they're working
for you. Like, I wouldn't have known that. Like, you could have written me up. I would have been like, oh, yeah, sure. Oh, my God. I'm glad you told me that.
Only pay, they only get 10%. Some agents take 20%, or managers. And that, I mean, that's, I don't agree with that at all. But, like, 10% is usually what it is.
Because their job is mainly just to get you into the booking or like the audition, or like what exactly are they doing for you?
They specifically get a break. Because they're licensed with a special license. Yeah. They get a breakdown service that nobody else can get. No actor can get.
So they have like access to something.
They have access to things that nobody else can get without their licensing.
Got it.
So,
that makes sense.
Right. Their job.
Because I was like, how can they prove that like they're gonna actually get you these gigs? Right. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like I've never, because I've thought about it, but I was like, is it common like as a director to get an agent? I'm not really sure. And I'm like, I don't know how much you need on your portfolio to like qualify for an agent. So that's like another thing that was like holding me back to even like look into it. And then like I kind of just started doing other things, and then I haven't really thought about it. But then when you mentioned the agent, I was like, yeah, like would that help me be able to like direct more stuff? Like, am I like, what am I doing? Like, you know what I mean? I had like a moment like, wait, what? You know,
when you're first starting, it's more important to work. And I know it's like, I was so impatient. People kept telling me this, work on the craft, get better, get better. Yeah. But if you do not get better, if you are not confident, the minute you walk into these rooms, you will embarrass yourself, and you will be sort of blacklisted for quite a long time, and they will not take you seriously. They're not going to want to bring you in for like an under 5, which is what happened to me. I was so eager to like get in front of people, get an agent. I got like terrible agents at first, and went into these rooms, embarrassed myself like by being more of a character, even though I was based in Meisner, and so that's like as real and grounded as you can possibly get in terms of like acting techniques. Okay. But I still had this habit of my nervousness and being unprepared. I would like be big. I would just do things that just were so amateur and so green that I think I hindered myself for the first couple of years. Yeah. So then fast forward, coming out to LA, I'm way better than I've ever been.
How old are you when you moved to LA?
I was just right before my 31st birthday.
Wow. Okay, so now. You had been in. Really? You look so. I literally thought we were like the same age, like 25. You look so good. I mean, obviously, but so you had been in New York. That was the only place you had been, and then you're like, I'm gonna go to LA.
Yeah, I was like, finally, I was like, you know what?
Did you meet your boyfriend here or in
New York?
Okay, so it was like a move together.
It was a move together. Okay. He's a brilliant actor. He's doing really well right now.
Yeah. So when did he come into the picture? Like,
so I had done a theater show at the Flea Theater in New York, which is a really well respected theater, and it was a really great play. It changed my life. It's called Bar Dykes. It was about like lesbians in the 50s.
No way. Wait, that's awesome.
I know. And just sort of their personal stories. It was like 1 hour. It wasn't a huge long thing, but it was impactful for the LGBT community to see themselves. Definitely. Because most of the cast was queer. I think I identify as straight, cis woman, and I'm really lucky to have been a part of that. Yeah. And I see the diversity that needs to be. So I was really lucky to be a part of that. And I ended up going out with one of my castmates, and that night I ran into him, and he was actually at the moment on a date.
I love it.
And I mean, I guess you could say maybe I was on a date.
Oh my God. Okay,
no. But I mean, either way, I was just like there for the fun.
Yeah,
it was a good time because we went to a dance show. It was it was really cool.
Dance show.
Nothing was happening between anyone.
Nothing was happening.
Nothing. I swear to God, I was not trying to steal anyone's man. But I did find him super attractive, and I was like, I said to myself, I was like, I was like, God, I want. As the night went on, I got to know him, and I was like, he is so calm. He's literally just so beautiful, physically beautiful.
Yeah.
He seems so grounded, so intelligent, and so like he's not looking at anybody else. He's not, not his eyes aren't wandering off his date.
Wow.
I was like, this is the kind of man I want in my life.
Yeah.
And 3 months went by, and somehow he slid into my DMs, and I was like, so, you still, are you still with the girl? And he was like, no, everything ended, and then we went on a date, and
oh my God,
and then we saw each other 4 times the same week.
Wow. Yeah, so it's instant connection.
And I was like, this is it. He's a singer, so he'd also I said to myself, I want to be with someone who's an artist, who is a singer, because I want that to inspire me. I want that in my life. I want more art in my life. I come from a conservative family who's never had art impactful, and it's never been a part of it. Creative freedom was looked down upon. I was like, I want someone who I can explore this artistic life with.
Yeah.
So he showed up. He's a phenomenal singer. He's recurring on Disney. He's,
oh my God. Good
he's
for him.
all
That's
over
amazing.
network, like
That's
ABC
so cool.
Queens and 911 Lone Star. And it's inspiring for me. A lot of people, there are times where I see him and it makes me think about myself, and I'm like, well, I do compare myself, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, how do you not? Of course, you're gonna compare yourself to your boyfriend, girlfriend, because you're like, okay, where are they in their life? Where am I? Are we equal in this relationship? You don't want it to feel like
if he's making more money, and as an independent woman, I'm like, I want to make my own money.
I make my own money. Of course.
I totally get it.
Yeah. It's you want that. You have that ego too, where you're like, I'm gonna prove myself.
Yeah.
No, I deal with that all the time.
Yeah. But I did it with the showcase.
Okay.
And this time I was so confident in myself. I got, during these showcases, they kind of give pamphlets to all of the agents, and you get feedback. And
okay. I didn't know this.
And I did a 4-night showcase, and the first night I was so nervous, and it was because I didn't love what I was presenting. I didn't love my performance.
Okay.
I wasn't confident in what I was presenting, which reflected in my ability.
Of course.
Of so I changed it. I did this. I was like, oh my God, I worked on this for a month beforehand, and I'm just going to change it the night of. And I changed it, and then going forward, all of the feedback I got was just so endearing and so wonderful. Yay! Everyone really loved it.
Yeah.
I ended up getting 2 agents were really interested in me.
Wow. So it's literally a performance, and then they're they're judging it and taking it in, right?
Yeah, and they're like, do we need... I'm there's a lot more going into it. It's do you have the look? Is there is there someone that they have on the roster that's very similar to you? Your vibe, your look. And
wow, that's so much pressure too. Oh my God. Okay.
I look at someone's roster, and I'm like, if there's a ton of South Asian women, I'm like, they probably won't take me on, even though it's I have a different personality than
but still, it's oh my God.
Right. There are South Asian women that look just like me, and they're friggin' sassy as hell. They're badass. There's some women that are into sports, football, Super Bowl Sunday, and these are just the type of things that are not portrayed on TV. You don't see plenty of Indian women super into football all the time. They're always the hot scientist, the hot the gorgeous doctor, the gorgeous.
That's so true. They're always the gorgeous doctor.
And I'm it's not right, but whatever.
I know.
Anyway, so 2 people took me on, and then I ended up signing with this one agency. My agent got fired 2 days after I signed.
Oh my God. What were you thinking in that moment?
I was I cried. I was like, no. I worked so hard. I just keep going.
Honestly, I probably would cry too, though. How
would you not? 1 step forward, 2 steps backward.
But that was completely out of your control.
Yeah.
Too. You couldn't do anything about that. So you know what I mean? But you do take it personal. You're is it me? Am I attached to just failure or whatever? I don't know. It's, you just go you get dramatic. I get dramatic in my head. I'm just oh fuck.
So it's well, what can I do for my own career?
Yeah.
So I was excited that we were both working on a production for Paramount.
Yeah. How did you end up on that production?
So I can say it now, my cousin is the coordinator. I had to keep saying it's my friend.
Ah,
but my cousin is like
who's your cousin?
Ganesh. He's like the testing coordinator.
Oh, I don't know if did I meet him?
He like is the one. He works from home and he
okay, so that's probably
he's like always on the computer for like 12 hours a day, communicating with people.
Okay, that makes sense because if he's working from home, I wouldn't have seen
it.
Yeah. But that's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So he got me the job, and luckily because there's like literally no Indian people on any of this production.
I know.
No people of color. No
I
people
think
of
that's
color. Guys.
Honestly, why you stood out to me so much too, because I was like, oh my god, we're both brown.
Yeah. Yeah. So oh my god, I like any brown woman. I'm like, please be my friend.
I know, like hi.
Right.
I felt the same way.
But yeah, so yes, but I was like, what can I do for my career?
Yeah.
I made sure that like at the end of when we were done, because all we had to do was test, and I would leave when you guys left.
Yeah, exactly.
We would be there from like 4:30 in the morning to like 10 a.m.
Crazy early hours, but at least you still have like half the day to still do whatever you need to do. Work on your own stuff.
I would still sneak on set and make sure I watched the actors in action, and they were huge stars, so it was really cool to see it. And I would take like classes with casting directors. A lot of them are pay for play, which is another thing you have to be careful of. Just make sure that that's the office you want to be going in for. Like if you can see yourself in superhero films, go to that agency.
Yeah,
go to that
exactly.
casting. But if you don't really care to do like procedurals,
right, then don't
bother working. But also know your type, because if you are if you do well as a professional, go in for those things. That's what's going to make you your money until you can finally go in for like HBO dark comedies.
That's honestly kind of like what happened with directing too, because as a kid I was just like, I want to do movies, I want to make movies. I didn't know like all the different positions and stuff, but like I thought I wanted to do acting. I was a little shy doing acting because there's just like a lot of pressure and like a lot of eyes looking at you all at once. I don't know, just something about it, right? And like I was like, you know what, I really love directing. I really like found love and passion for that, and I was like, if I really 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 still want to do acting, I can just put myself in my own movies in the future. But acting
is so vulnerable.
But I don't know if I now I'm just kind of still sticking to directing, but maybe one day
you know what, I respect directors so much, because you as a director have to not only like know the story more than anyone else. I talk to most directors and I'm like, God, how did I not even think of that? Like my only responsibility is telling this character story, and how did I not even think about it? But directors, the thoroughness that they have to go through, because not only do you have to like know all your departments, your grips, your construction, like your lighting, your DP, like because the camera itself, I mean, as a director, you're not in charge of the camera unless it's a smaller production. You have a DP for that. But exactly. The camera itself is a point of view. You have to know how you're, like with Modern Family, with multicam, with like HBO dark comedies.
Crazy.
They are characters. So as a director, you got to know that. You got to know your storyboard. You got to know,
and connecting the actors, like really like being vulnerable, like having that connection and like having them be vulnerable with you. Like it's not necessarily always that easy to like get deeper than past, like, oh, like,
that's why you have to good actors.
Really, good actors, and also just having that close relationship really helps. Like I like, honestly, I think another reason why I love directing so much is like I always form such a deep connection and like relationship with the actors, because it's like I feel like we really get deep on another level, like. Because, like, before rehearsing on set and everything, I usually, like, meet with them, outside of the production or, like, get lunch. And it's, like, I really just, like, connect with them and, like, relate to them on, like, my life as well, too, and how we're similar, too. And it just, like, it's like an onion, just, like, different layers. And you just, like, kind of, like, peel off, like, more and more. And it's just, I don't know, it's really beautiful. I think that's why I really enjoy it, too. It's, like, it's very therapeutic, honestly.
So therapeutic.
It really is. Because you're just connecting and you're like, wow, we're making this movie and like telling the story, but like deep down, like behind all this, like we are like the same too, and we can connect to the story as well, because like these characters are like this person in our life, or like someone we know, or someone we like read about. Like I don't know, it's just like so crazy. Like, I
mean, your movie is your
how
why.
Connected we can all be.
It's why you're in this industry. Every movie is like a part of your reason for living. You're like, why are you even bothering telling
it's
this
a part
story?
Of you.
It's like, what messages are you trying to what impact are you trying to have, and in
it's
this
like
world? Whether
it's so amazing
or not.
That's like it's in a beautiful creative way with so many different people that like hopefully when the audience is watching it, they're like taking it in and learning something and like are really just affected by it. And it's just like, wow, like you were able to do that. You were able to affect so many people around the world. Like it's pretty amazing when you think about it.
It is. You can change lives. I
mean,
my life would be, not the same without film,
without
cinema.
Yeah, if you think about it, like what if we had like no movies? Like at all, like it's just like radio and music. Like it'd be so interesting. Like I feel like you would only like take in so much, because like I feel like you learn so much through like shows and documentaries and films. I mean, I learned so much. I mean,
storytelling has been around since Plato.
Literally,
Storytelling is just it's part of human nature.
It is. We want to express ourselves. We love.
I mean, probably before Plato. I mean, the hieroglyphs for the Egyptians, and then you see like other indigenous cultures from like 250,000 years ago.
I know.
So humans have always been telling stories. It's just like part of eating and breathing and things like that. So it's it's an incredibly important industry to be in. And and so
wait till 2 days out, like so your agent gets fired. So now you're crying. What are you thinking? Like, what are you doing?
I was just like, I was like Dory. I was just like, keep swimming, keep swimming. The things I'd like to like give to whoever is listening, whoever is wanting to be part of the industry. Just I think the most important thing for yourself is to have a mindset routine. A lot of people don't really know what mindset is. I really want people to like look up people, and this is not like these are the people. No, like people like Tony Robbins, people like Mel Robbins, people Gary Vee. I don't love everything he says, but some things are cool. Deepak Chopra. There's like a ton of really cool thought leaders. Get your mindset right. Have a morning routine. These are all things that are entrepreneurs. Because if you're an actor, you're an entrepreneur. If you're a director, you're an entrepreneur. If you're in this industry, you're an entrepreneur. These are all things entrepreneurs need to have, whether you're like in fashion or not. Have a mindset routine, and keep up with the consistency.
Would you say doing multiple like things is more beneficial and could be like a step to like get you to where you need to be quicker, or like, because I feel like that's what we're both doing. Like I feel like we're both kind of,
but we're doing multiple things within the industry, within the niche that we like, right? Like I still want to do copywriting, mostly ghostwriting, but like it'll still stimulate every other creative part of me, right? And still sustain me in a creative way where I can really do acting, because that's my number one thing. Yes. And I don't know, it's good to like explore other things like dancing, like like if you like crocheting, if you like cooking, if you like mowing the lawn and gardening, that's honestly, a creative thing.
It's nice to, the smell of fresh cut grass. I'm like, I fucking love that. Like, it's the little things sometimes too. Like
if you have an interest in science and experiments, oh my god, that's amazing. Like it will inform every bit of your creativity. So as long as you know what you want to do, tie everything else into your life, it'll just happen. So just like know what you want, know your why, have a mindset routine, and stay consistent.
And even if it doesn't happen right away, like
and it won't happen right away.
Right. I feel like we both can, I mean, honestly, like I feel like I literally have these moments. I'm like, how long is it going to take? But I'm like, you can't think like that, because like you just have to just keep working at it, and then eventually something will hit. It's not like, okay, like in 2 years it's gonna like work out. I feel like that's gonna like
there are
drive
actors
you crazy.
that like book like a chicken and then don't book for 2 years. Like I haven't booked anything.
Oh my god, you would think like, what? I feel like that's
series regulars.
I know,
who are series regulars on Amazon shows, on streaming shows, and they have not booked anything in a year or 2 years. You know, and this is just the way the industry goes. You'll see your favorite actors that don't book anything.
That's so true. You're like, where? Yeah, they haven't.
You're like, where are they? Sometimes it's because they don't have. Some things it's because they have a lot of money and investments. And they just want to take a break, right? But either way, you don't know what people's story is. It's
exactly.
This is a huge
roller and we're all going through something. Even if you're an A-list actor, like they could be going through the same thing as someone like just like us, right? Or just like me,
right?
But I mean, obviously, they're not going to be like sitting here talking about it and like being like, oh yeah, this is what happened to me. I mean, some do. Some are podcasting and opening up about stuff, which I think is really cool that we're getting a little bit more insight on like those types of people. But yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, I feel like so many of us are going through the same thing, so it's nice to just like hear other people's like experience and like stories and kind of just be able to connect on it, because at the end of the day we're all just humans.
Yeah.
And I hope we can like work on a film together sometime. Maybe you can act and I can direct, because that'd be so much fun.
I know. I'm thinking about writing something.
Me too. And I was thinking the same thing. I was like, wait, I'm like in the process of like writing a short film. I'm like thinking about just like shooting it here, like at the house, like utilize my freaking like locations, like what I have, because that's another thing that I like have been doing wrong. I feel like is like I keep writing stories that I don't like have the location for. I'm like, stupid, like use your house, like use your location that you have. So that's what I'm doing right now. So hopefully in like maybe next month or something we could try to like collab on a short film and then just like submit it to short film or something, like I mean to film festivals. That's what I was trying to say. Submit it to film festivals, you know, and you never know, like, something could hit, or like it's just something to add to the portfolio, like why not? You know, like I feel like I know so many creative like people now, and I'm like, we all like vibe so hard, so it's like, why don't we just make something? And like I feel like that's kind of like how a good way to get in. So it's like, okay, like we're consistently working on stuff together, making short films, like eventually something will hit. I'm gonna stick to that.
Absolutely.
Yay. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Thanks everyone.